both the prophet Isaiah and the second reading, Paul's letter to the Romans, talks about how God's salvation is for all people, not a single generation or a single nation. Why? Because in the Old Testament, the Jewish people taught that because they were selected as a chosen nation, salvation is meant for them alone. And so they despised and disregarded everyone else. But the prophet Isaiah in today's first reading tells us that God's salvation is universal. It's for all people. Anyone who accepts God and offers sacrifices to him would be accepted by God. And he says, my house will be called a house of prayer for all people, no matter your background. And that is why Paul says to himself that he is the apostle to the Gentiles. In the scriptures, when we say a Gentile, we're talking about somebody who is not born as a Jew. So all of us, we are Gentiles. Another name for the Gentiles is a foreigner. So when the scripture talks about somebody who is a foreigner, it means somebody who is not born into the Jewish culture and a Jewish religion. This was a problem for Jesus. The scribes and the Pharisees fought him because they thought Jesus was visiting foreigners. He was eating and drinking with them. These are our enemies. Why do you go into the Gentiles and stay with them? They didn't know that Christ came for all people of all backgrounds. Isaiah's prophecy that God's salvation is going to be revealed to all people is fulfilled in our gospel reading. In the gospel reading, we hear about a foreigner, a foreign woman who is a Canaanite. She is not a Jew. She had an encounter with Jesus in an unusual manner. Jesus, we see, is sometimes so kind and gentle with people. But look at the situation of this Canaanite woman, her encounter with Jesus. First of all, she greeted Jesus, Son of David, have pity on me. And this woman was greeted with silence. Jesus didn't mind her. Then the indifference of the disciples who went to Jesus and said to Jesus, can you send her away? She's making noise. They also greeted her with indifference. Then Jesus comes in with a scorn. I was sent to the lost sheep of Israel. And this woman still didn't get angry. Then she went forward to did Jesus homage, fell at his feet and said, Lord, have mercy on me. Then the shocking statement, a belittling simile came. It is not right to give the food of the children to dogs. What a shock, a shocking statement. And this woman comes forward and said to Jesus, yes, I know. I'm not a true son of Israel. I'm not a Jewish. I do not merit your grace, but the leftover of your blessings, I deserve it. That even the dogs eat from the scraps that fall from their master's table. So if even I am not worthy of your blessings, just out of mercy, give me the scraps of your blessings that has fallen under the table. Would you have that patience? As we sit here, if you need something from somebody, would you have this patience of this woman, all because you know what you want? Even as little children, when we need something from our mom and dad, do we have the patience of asking over and over again, pleading and doing homage, falling under their feet, all because you need something from them? Probably you ask one, if you don't get it, you become gloomy and dark. But this woman is an example for us. Was Jesus just trying to be rude to her? Was just Jesus trying to be insultive to her? Or even to use the American word, was Jesus trying to be mean to her? This is the word I learned when I came here. Oh, he was mean to me. I didn't know it. But was Jesus trying to be mean to this woman? No. Jesus has a reason for treating her like that. All that Jesus wanted to prove was that he wanted to prove to the Jewish people who were following him that outside the Jewish culture and religion, there are people who have true and genuine faith. And this woman was an example to prove to his followers and his listeners that outside the Jewish people, there are foreigners, Gentiles, who have genuine and profound faith. And that was what Jesus was doing to bring out the good in this woman. That is why after she passed all the tests, Jesus said to her, "Woman, great is your faith." In some translations, Jesus says to her, "Throughout the whole of Israel, I have never found a faith like this." Indeed, the woman is a sign of faith, persistent faith, because nothing could shake her from getting what she wanted. I want us to learn 3 things from this woman. First, all of us, we should acknowledge that our mothers, they go through a lot to give us what we need. This woman went to Jesus not to ask for anything for herself. She wasn't there for herself. She was there because her daughter needed healing. And look at the humiliation. Look at the struggle, the pain, the anguish she has to pass through because her daughter needed healing. Is that the daughter was lying home? Did she know what the mother was going through, or because she was asking for healing for her? Probably no. Will the woman go home and tell the daughter that you are now healed? Do you know what I've passed through? Probably she will not tell her daughter what she went through. As we sit here, most of us, we are going through a lot of struggles and pain, all because we need something for our sons and daughters. Do they know what you are going through? And as children, when we grow, do we appreciate the struggles our parents go through just to put us in a rightful place? Sometimes we do not know. And we treat them with disrespect. We turn a blind eye towards them. When they need our help, we don't offer it. All because we do not know what they go through. And I want us to learn something from this woman. The humiliation, the insult she received, the scorn she received, all because she needed something for her daughter. Take a time and think about what probably your mom or your dad went through to make you who you are today. Parents go through a lot to protect and to secure our future. When we grow, we should reciprocate that with respect, with care, and with love. It is not easy to be a mother. It is not easy to be a father. Sometimes we go through all the struggles, all the dangers to put our children in a good position. And it's so sad that when we grow and we become independent, we forget about all those things. Today, think about that. Your mother or your father will not tell you whatever he or she has been through to put you where you are today. But always know that they go through a lot. And we need to appreciate that by respecting them, by showing them the care and the love, especially when they grow older. Imagine this woman went through all this humiliation and her daughter got healed and started disrespecting her. What would have been her pain and her anguish? I remember one time I was leaving home to school. My mother was seeing me off, and she was just crying. And I said, "Why are you crying? I'll be back in just 2 months. We'll vacate." And she said, "I'm not crying because you are leaving. I'm crying because your father fought me and hit me with a broom because I needed to take money for you." My heart was broken. And she said, anytime you leave for school, we fight because of you. And I bet you that day, the love that I have for my mom was tripled. That this woman goes through all this because of me, and I don't know. And since that time, I loved her. And I'll do everything in my life to make her happy. In the same way, most of us, as we sit here, we might be going through similar things for our children. Especially even those who go through divorce. Sometimes you have to fight, battle in court, just to take possession of your children. Sometimes we go to court, we fight, just to get child support for your children or your child. Then you do all these things, you win the children to yourself, then they grow and they don't care about you. They don't show any concern. Then you ask yourself, was it a wasted effort? Just consider this woman and what she went through. If you are here, never ever disregard your mom or your dad, especially my little children who are here. Show them the ultimate respect that they deserve. Be there for them day and night because they have been there for you night and day. They walk through darkness, pass through the rain just to secure you. They may not tell you the story, but know that you are who you are because somebody made a big sacrifice. This woman, she put her integrity aside. She put her respect aside just for her daughter. The second thing that we have to learn is that this woman approached God through the divine mercy. She knew that she was disadvantaged. She was a woman. She was not a Jew. She had so many disqualifications. But she approached God through mercy. The divine mercy of God is there for all of us. That is why she says, Lord, have pity on me. If even I do not deserve your favor, out of mercy and compassion, have pity on me. Whenever we approach God in mercy, he will receive you with mercy. And through mercy, you will receive what you do not merit. The mercy of God is that which opens the door of grace into our lives. Never think that you don't deserve God's blessings. If you only look up to his mercy, his blessings will come into your life. The third thing that I want us to learn from this woman is that she was a woman of humility. We always say that it pays to be humble. But anyone who is humble and seeks the Lord with sincere heart will always find the grace of God. This woman did not allow her pride to be an obstacle to the blessings she was seeking. She was so determined that if even I will be insulted, I will be called names, I will be disregarded, I wouldn't be bothered because I know what I want. So out of humility, she persisted. And that is why Jesus will call her, woman, great is your faith. And so the woman is an example of faith, all because she demonstrated that act of faith through persistency and single-mindedness. She was single-minded. All that she desired was healing for her daughter. And so she kept focus on that. Nothing will distract me. I know what I want. I know what I desire. If I will be beaten, I will be insulted, I will be called names, I will keep focus until I get what I want. Are you focused in your faith? Are you determined in your faith? That no matter the circumstances you find yourself, you will not shift your attention from God. You will keep persisting. Learn from this woman. For whenever we approach God in humility, we will always get good answers. And once we keep focus on one thing, we will always find it. What is your desire as you sit here in God? I know you need salvation. Focus on that salvation. We can also use the idea of single-mindedness in our relationships. If you are in marriage or in friendship with people and you know the reason why you enter into that marriage and you cherish that reason, no matter the challenge and the struggle, you keep focusing. Sometimes if you don't know what you want, you easily give up. You throw yourself into this despair. But if you really know what you want, you know the reason why you enter into that marriage covenant, you may be called names, you may be disrespected, but you keep holding on because you have a goal in mind. You have something to achieve. Until you achieve that purpose, you will never give up. That is why, although every marriage has its struggles, some people have been able to hold on to the end. There is no relationship without struggles. But if you are not convinced about what you are doing in that relationship, you easily say, enough is enough. I can't put up with you anymore. I can't hold forth anymore. That means you don't know what you want. Those who are convinced and determined to get something from their marriage, no matter the circumstances, they will hold on to the end. I pray that God will give you that energy and strength, that he will give you the grace of being single-minded in whatever you are doing in your spiritual life, that we will not allow the circumstances we find ourselves in to change our course of justice and righteousness. Those who seek the Lord in sincerity, in humility, they will always find his grace. May Christ be our companion. Even when we meet challenges and struggles like these women in our pursuit of grace, may he always keep us focused and may he answer us through our act of humility.